Good morning, Radical World Changers. I am so excited to be here with you today. Today. I'm here with my amazing friend, as you can see, Mr. Chike Evans, who
Good
is a
morning.
phenomenal person. He does so many things. He has so many titles, talent producer, talent recruiter. I'll let him tell you because I don't want to mess up all his titles, but whatever it is, I call people who rock like me, the etc. So there's no limit to who we are. We become the need in the moment and rock out on the highest level that we can do. He is one title I know he definitely is a contributing writer in this amazing magazine called iMatter magazine. He's written several articles. You got to clap when you're on screen. You're not on screen right now, so you got to do that clap again. I can see you. But he is an amazing contributing writer to this amazing magazine, iMatter magazine, bringing a male voice, bringing a professional voice, bringing all of his experience to the table to be able to share and to empower men and women across the world. So without further ado, we are going to get into our meeting because it is early in the morning, as y'all can see, and we all vibrant. Let me get on camera here. Hey, Chike.
Good morning, sis.
Hey. So welcome, and thank you again for just taking the time, making the time to be a part of the World Changers Huddle and all that you do, the contributing writer to iMatter magazine. I so appreciate you and the collaboration and your just commitment to empowering people through various creative avenues such as iMatter and your other million platforms. So talk a little bit about yourself and let's get into today's topic.
Okay. So that's one thing I've never been able to do pretty well is to talk about myself. And that comes from a place of being raised. We don't boast on yourself. You're humble, you're grateful, and you're thankful. And you owe that all to God. But sometimes you got to toot your own horn. I've learned this, through living life. You have to toot your own horn because sometimes, as you know, people don't give it to you, right?
Yes, you got to. I'm gonna let you talk because I can talk about that. But go ahead.
Some people don't give it to you, and in order for you to stay sustained, you have to refuel yourself because sometimes that's the only way you're going to get fuel. And I'm going to get off topic really quickly, so I have to stop that because
I'm gonna bring you right back.
I can get really impassioned about it. So pretty much I am a producer of 3 podcasts. I work for the Stephen Knight Show, which I'm a co-host and producer. I have Conversations with Chike Evans, which I'm a host and a producer, and No Lies Detected, which I am a co-host and a producer. And it's a lot, but I love it. And when you love something and you have passion to do it, it doesn't seem like work. You know this as well as I do.
The typical day.
Yeah, you wear as many hats as I do. So when you're able to be in this space and you know that you're helping others and you're offering, in my case, information or maybe a bolstering of sorts, because what I love to do is take the ingredients that people already have and shine them up and present them out to people so that they can pick them up and receive them the way that they're supposed to. That's what I think my specialty is.
Yeah. I love collaborating with you. You are creatives. I love working with creatives, first of all, but I love working with creatives who get it, who know the language, who speak the language. It's just like we gel. We know the ins and outs of this journey. So it's like I said, like even today, it's a typical day for us. You adjust, but we make it work. And, we go hard in it, and just being able to, like you said, it's kind of like refurbish what people already have that they don't see as valuable, shine it up and like, look what you have here. Like to give it to them from a different perspective or show them the worth in what they have is so amazing for people to, when that light bulb clicks and they're actually able to embrace that and then run in it. live
Yes.
in it, that space, and know that you had a part to play in that. It's just so amazing to know that you have I would say you've interjected, you was that speed bump that was in someone's life that caused them to go on a different path than what they were going
Right.
on, because you chose to show up as your authentic you
Yeah.
know. So I love it, love it, love it. So let's get into this. The last article you wrote for iMatter magazine, I love it because it's the foundation. It's part of the foundation. So the foundation for me of life is, you're knowing who you are,
Mm-hmm.
knowing, having your value and
Mm-hmm.
accepting who you are, having that self-love so that you can have healthy with yourself, a healthy relationship with yourself, so you can have healthy relationships with others, so that you can be open to whatever your journey of life is.
Mm-hmm.
Another part of that foundation is purpose,
Mm-hmm.
because then that will direct you to what path you will go on
Right.
as you have embraced and embodied the self-love of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Now what are you? You know what I mean? Like who
Right.
you are, the ingredient. Now what are you? What is your contribution to this life, to society? What are you? So now this passion piece, I tell everybody, it's just amazing how many people are walking around here just busy
Mm-hmm.
doing stuff, and they feel good about it, but they don't know what their purpose is. They're hitting and missing. You know what I mean? They're not really an active participant in their purposeful life. So I'm gonna stop talking. This is me on this side of the I'm so used to being just interviewed, and I love that because you can just talk. But now over here to interview, you have to ask a question. I'm learning for you. Ask a question, allow your guest to answer. So let's talk about that. How we encounter people who are aimlessly walking through life
Mm-hmm.
and not intentionally living in purpose.
So I can answer from personal experience. I'm not going to say that I was aimlessly walking through life, but I was maneuvering through life without knowledge of my purpose.
Mm,
So I'll say this: when you have a connection to your higher power, you'll always be in the space of, or the vicinity of, or adjacent to, and you may not know it, just simply because you're not walking around with your eyes open. But if you're a child of God, God always has his hand on you, whether you know it or not, or whether you're participating in the hand being on you or not. God always has his hand on you. And it's a matter of fine tuning it and reeling it in, and recognizing it for what it is. And just to get on that journey is a journey in itself. But you have to get on that journey in order for those things to be revealed to you. And maybe your passion is the thing that comes to you easy, that you don't even think about. You don't even think about it as being a passion, because since you were 6 years old, this thing has always been an automatic. So you take it for granted, not to a negative degree, but you just take it for granted because it's a part of your DNA. And sometimes it takes an outside source to shine that flashlight so you can see it. And that's why I do what I do, because I like to be a flashlight for people, or I like to be the one to, the curtain reveal. Ta-da, this is what you're doing. And it works for some people, and some people it doesn't. Some people find it accidentally. And it's all in what you reveal for yourself. So if you go on the journey, and the journey would be the thing that brings you happiness and joy without it being laborious. That thing that gives you that twinge inside, or that thing that makes you feel like, I don't know if anyone out there has ever felt the Holy Spirit, but that thing that makes you feel kind of like in that space, that God-like space. And it's not a hard deliver. It's something that comes easy. It's automatic. That's where your passion is. And you're on the right path when things about it start to fall in line easy. When things just start to line up and God starts talking to you, and you start to see the manifestation of that work that you're putting in, and it all just falls together, and you're on the right path. And you can curtail that and tweak it, and perfect it, put some fine points on it as you're moving through. But yeah, those are the things, that's the space you need to be in. And just going on that journey in itself is spiritual, and you will find yourself in the right place. Just go on the journey, because it will all fall in line. Did that make
I,
sense?
It makes a lot of sense. I have to mute myself so that I don't, interject, but also so that the camera can stay on you without me, hearing my oohs and ahs and clapping. But I was over here screaming because that's exactly, what I teach people. And one of the things that you were saying, you have to spend time with yourself. You have to like make you a project. Make you a project and discover you and write down what you love to do, what you like to do, what brings you joy, as you said. What would you rather be doing? You have to do that time, and you have to be an active participant on your journey. I would say life is a bully, and it will try to push its agenda on you. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your life reacting to life versus being intentional and being intentional about your life and letting life get in line with your purpose, with your decisions, with we're always going to deal with obstacles. Life is going to always throw curveballs. But if you're constantly in reacting mode and constantly dodging dodgeballs versus being on a journey and going on in a certain direction, and allowing those dodgeballs to come, but you're still moving forward. You're not just a sitting duck with one thing happening. We always say it's always one thing after another. Well, yeah, but it is if you're sitting there and you're just getting hit and dodging, you're going to get tired. But if you are focused on your purpose and you have embraced your passion and focused on your purpose and you are in pursuit, honey, you won't have to catch me. You're gonna have to catch me. I'm that, don't worry about it. I'm that ninja that's going all through it. You're gonna have to find me because I won't be a sitting duck. And this is what we wanted to talk to you about, is that, life can get very hard. And it can be even harder when you do not know your purpose. When you do not know your purpose, you are literally a sitting duck waiting for life to throw you another curveball, to throw you another punch.
Yes.
And I always say, in environments that I find the hardest and I don't understand what's going on, when I discover the purpose of it, then I know or the assignment I have in it, in a sense. Then it gives it purpose, and then I can find the direction I need to go in, versus just sitting there waiting for the elements to continue to attack me or, give me depression or anxiety or frustration. Like, I have to find the purpose in it. And then I can find my assignment in it and move forward. But it's always going to line up with who I already am.
Right.
Who I already am. Why am I here? Why is this stuff going on? And then I can line it up with my purpose. And now it has an assignment. And now I have a direction versus just sitting there, So talk about that. Talk about, just being in different situations. And I want to hear your feedback on that part, basically, instead of me repeating myself.
So I just want to keep in mind, everybody is different, right? Everybody's DNA is different. So how things affect you, how things manifest, how you structure, everything about it is going to be different. What you do, from myself and my sister here, is take pieces from our lives and apply it to yours. One formula does not work for everybody, but the point that you need to go on the journey and you need to find your passion, that's for everyone. Just simply with the journey of trying to find that space can be arduous, and it can actually deplete you if you don't go about doing it in the proper way. And there's other mitigating factors, like sometimes you have haters in your midst that keep you from your purpose. Sometimes other people may see the purpose before you see it. And if they're the jealous-hearted kind, they will try to circumvent you getting to that destination. But staying in prayer, staying focused, and finding that thing, whatever it may be, and you have to, I say, look at your joy meter. The joy meter is the thing that tells you when you're in the right space. And it's how you react physically to the thing that it is that you want to do mentally. If the two aren't aligned, then it's a no-go. Because 9 times out of 10, actually 10 times out of 10, that mental alignment and that physical alignment will tell you this is the avenue that you need to be on. And then you have to play around within that avenue to figure out and curtail what it is exactly about this particular space, what it is that I need to do and how I need to maneuver in here. So like, say you're a nurse. This is for example, and I picked this. I don't know why it just came to me, but if you're
Because
a nurse,
I'm a nurse and I'm loving it. I was like, yes, pick that profession, pick that one.
if you're a nurse and you have that natural ability to be a caregiver and to take care of people, and you do that for a living and you make money at it, that's fine. That's your purpose. But then there's something that you can do outside of that. Maybe there is something that is happening that you can volunteer for, where there's a specialty. Maybe there's being a nurse on the weekend to homeless people that don't go out and get medical care. And then that aspect of you being in that space at that particular time may give you an idea. Hey, maybe you want to start a wellness center. And I'm just pulling just off the top of my head. But that's how things like that happen. Say you are in the soup kitchen, feeding people, but you have a gift of maybe finding resources. Maybe you're that person that's the plug in that space to pull people aside and start ushering them into programs that can better help them. Sometimes your gifts could be that you're just the plug. And being the plug is nothing to sneeze at. It's actually greater than some other things that are out there, simply because you're a conduit to help people get to various other things that they may need to get to. And in essence, you become more valuable. You become more valuable to yourself and you become more valuable to other people. Those are just some examples. But staying focused is hard. But what's harder is actually finding the thing to be focused on. So I have to stress, get on the journey and start looking, because you can't begin to do anything else until you actually find what it is that you actually need and want to do. And it has to start with what makes your heart twinge, what gives you those butterflies in your stomach, what is the thing that you think about at night and you be like, oh, this is a good idea. Oh, this would be a good idea. And sometimes listen to people on the side, not all the time, but listen to people on the side, because it goes both ways. It can go negative and it can go positive. Sometimes people may say, especially people that are in tune to you and love you, say, you know what, brother, you should do this. Did you ever think about trying to do this? And sometimes you have to explore that, because that may be an avenue that's for you. Not that you necessarily thought about it before, but maybe somebody else sees something in you that you might not quite see yet. Yeah, be open. That's the key. Be open and be receptive.
Yeah, and I love what you said. I call it being the bridge. I love being the bridge from for different people, from the community to the resources. Sometimes, there's resources available, but the community doesn't know about them. And then their community is there, but the resources can't connect with them. But being able to be the bridge, to be able to give people hope and help. And just as you said, it was, I was stuck being a nurse. I knew I had a good heart. This is just an example. I had a good heart. I wanted to be a nurse and help people. I started when I was a teenager, helping my best friend at the time with her great grandmother. And so I just started becoming a CNA. And then as a CNA, the nurse there told me, and she's actually one of my mentors and best friend to this day. And I've been a nurse for 23 years, in the medical field for 28. She's one of my best friends now. That nurse and told me, you need to go to school for nursing. You have a good heart and a good eye for this. And then I went to school for nursing, but even in nursing, I just didn't feel, I felt good, but I just didn't feel that passion. I felt good. I wanted to help people, didn't feel that passion. And then I just started helping people in the community, as you said. And in all the hats that I wear, the consistent thing is about caring about people, giving them help and hope. And I'm able to do that as a nurse. I'm able to do that as an author, as a speaker. And that's the foundation. That's the key point for me. That's the radius, in a sense, it's just helping people in various avenues, on various platforms. So again, finding my passion of helping people, it led me on a journey to where I am now. And people was like, wait, she's a teacher. And I love when my kids do this. I'm like, who am I? And when we have family night and everything, and they'll yell out, she's our teacher, no, she's a nurse, no, she's an actress, no, she makes movies. And the parents are confused and everybody's like, wait, what is happening? Because people cannot imagine one person with all these hats.
Mm-hmm.
But I love giving my children, my students, the experience of being able to be open to more than one thing.
Yep.
Not just being stuck in this one thing. Because what if this one thing doesn't work? And this happened with the pandemic. What if your one thing that you've always been focused on and didn't look outside the box or think outside the box, I'm just going to do this. What if that was not available anymore? Do you cease to exist?
Right.
Your passion is not in a title. It's not in a title. It's really in the thing that you can do and that you can offer to this world.
Yeah.
That a title cannot limit or hinder you from doing.
Yeah. And I think that what we went through in the pandemic was a wake-up call and an education for a lot of people, because I think a lot of people were that way in thinking. It was that I'm going to do this, I'm going to rock with this is working for me. But the key to it all is to remain open, because the only thing constant in life is change. And if you're not prepared and ready to deal with change, then you're not prepared to live. That's just the way it goes. And you have to be pliable and amendable to various situations. For example, you're in the medical field, just like myself. If they were to close down the hospitals, my particular skill set, I can't take that and work from home. There's no way that I can do that. But what I can do is offer my services to another facility that can maybe access patients for mental capacity, dealing with maybe airway or breathing or sleeping situations where they can be coached. So you have to be open to think about what are the other avenues that you can possibly go down that can still utilize your skill set and also offer that particular service to the people that you're trying to reach or the thing that you're trying to do. And with everyone is different. Some people actually went on a quest during that time to actually figure out what else it is that they could do to survive.
Definitely.
And
It
it's
was
definitely a wake-up call.
mandatory. They were
Yes,
forced to
yes.
find a way to think differently, to live differently, and to be different. They were forced to really sit down and take inventory. In the most inopportune time, they were forced to sit down and take inventory of their stock and what they brought to the table and how they could survive if this one avenue was not available anymore.
Yeah. And what I was going to say, and so finding your passion is kind of exactly like that, but you're putting the pressure on yourself. It's not society or life putting that pressure on you. But finding your passion is putting that pressure on yourself. Hey, maybe I can go this way. Maybe I can go that way. And the thing to keep in mind is I always say be like water. Water always takes the path of least resistance. You have to kind of be like water. Let me flow down this path. Let me see what's going to happen. Maybe nothing will happen down there, but at least you tried and you went down this path to exhaust whatever avenue this is that may not or may feed you. But then you can live for another day and go down another path, and may not happen there either. But there is a path that is going to be for you. You just have to go on the journey. You have to go on the journey.
Yeah, I tell my students all the time that, have a profession and have a trade. Have a profession and have a trade, and they most likely will be, kind of in the same passion with a different title. But, again, with my titles, they was like, but you're a nurse. How do you do this? Because I can, and it's a trade, it can also become a profession, but I don't always have, and this is why I push, universities or trade schools, you always have to have a fallback plan. If your main plan does not work out, you want your main plan to work out. That's what you're aiming for. But just to be, like you were talking about, fluent as water, to be able to adjust when you want to adjust, not when life makes you adjust. Some avenues may be closed at some times, or like if I was, for example, I was a nurse. I am a nurse. But there was a time where I couldn't find a job that was in the area I needed because I was taking care of my nephew. And I was willing to take a lower paying job outside of my profession because these bills do not stop. However, they would not hire me because of my degree, saying I was overqualified. And for employers, they want to make sure that their employees have longevity. They're just not hiring seasonal people when they didn't, when they didn't advertise seasonal. They want you there with longevity. So I couldn't even take a lower paying job just to pay bills because of my profession. So I had to started putting my trades on my resume to make it, and they were like, well, how are you a nurse and how it doesn't matter. I have experience in doing these other things. So it made me more marketable. And then for me, I create my own way. I ain't gonna wait for nobody to sit there and tell me what I can do or can't do, but your passion can create a path for you that you didn't even know existed.
Yep.
You don't have to follow the template of life. It's good to get you started on the journey, but your passion, your purpose can take you through uncharted waters to create a path for people coming around you and coming behind you that they didn't even know existed in this world.
Yes. And I would say that with a lot of people, your life resources, just the simple things that you've experienced in life, can be tools that you can use for your survival and also taking you on that path to finding your passion. So your first job, whatever that was that you did when you were 14 or 15 years old, think about some of the trades and the skill sets that you had, back then. Say you worked at McDonald's flipping burgers. Okay, so you have kitchen
culinary skills, right?
You can work on a grill. You know what it's like to work in a fast-paced food environment. You probably haven't done that since you were 16 or 17 years old, right? So now you're an adult, the pandemic is here. You can't find a job in your profession anywhere because everything's shut down. But what you can do, you got that kitchen experience. Maybe you don't go back to McDonald's. Maybe you don't go do this. But maybe you see a job offer that's for one of the top restaurants in the big city. You take a chance and you fill it out because you have kitchen duty. They accept you. There's a pathway for you now to work in the kitchen because of the past kitchen experience that you have. And you never know what kind of opportunities will come from that. For example, myself, my background is airway management, sleep apnea. That's my background. I just recently got a job being a dental assistant. They're not related, but they saw my resume and they felt like I was qualified enough to join their team. So basically what happened was, now you're paying me to learn about a whole new trade that I can now tuck into my belt and eventually in the future move on with that knowledge and that education. Just how things fall out and how they happen. You just have to be open and fluid to what's going to come your way and receive it with good favor. Everything, that isn't what you want isn't always negative. Remember that. Everything that comes your way that is not what you want is not always negative.
Sometimes you don't know what you need until you're in it. You try to, you're like, I don't want to go through this, but it's a learning lesson that you didn't know you needed to propel you to your next destination. Nobody wants to go through uneasiness or discomfort. People want the easy path. Can
I say this? I want to push back on that about the nothing comes easy. Sometimes things come really hard. Sometimes God putting you through a little something to see if you really want something. How about that? How about
exactly? How bad do you really want it?
Yeah. Sometimes you got to go through a little rough terrain because it slows you down to pay attention to the scenery. You know what I mean? Definitely. Sometimes down that rough terrain road, right? You're going through the woods, it's rough terrain. The Lord is showing you, there's a whole lot of timber here because when you get down there, you're going to need to use some of this timber to build yourself a log cabin for shelter. Exactly. That's just how things go.
Yeah, exactly. Always take inventory of what is happening. Why are you going through this? And then I was let go of a job out of nowhere in 2011, I believe. And I was like, what in the world is going on? Like, as much as I was like, such a mundane job, it was just, I can do it with my eyes closed, but it was paying the bills. But when it was taken from me, I'm like, what is happening here? And I didn't realize it at the time until I had a conversation with someone that I said, by the time I'm 35, I'm going to retire and travel. I was 35 that year. I didn't realize that, the thing that was on the inside of me that I just kept saying, I'm not going to be doing nursing for the rest of my life. Like, I'm not going to do the 65 and retire and get a watch and then go get a job at another location just to make ends meet, because now the Social Security or something is not paying the bills. I'm still working, but I'm retired. That doesn't compute for me, and so I just didn't realize that the dream I had on the inside of me of retiring at 35 and traveling the world and speaking or being paid to speak, it was even before I became Diamond in the sense. I was still Nurse Sherelle, but I'm just like, that was a dream that was put inside of me. So when I was in this moment, no matter how, frustrating it was, just having that conversation, it was like a light bulb went off.
Yep.
I'm transitioning to where I said I wanted to go, but it was not the path I thought I was going to take. You always think it's going to be easy. Like, you're going to have the power to do that. But when you're on this journey to what you say that you want or what you're passionate about, you're going to hit some obstacles, courses, and they can be, like you said, challenging, and just going to challenge you to see, are you really about this life?
That's right.
It's going to take you on that journey to be able to, and I call them learning lessons. You go out on these obstacle courses in life, and it's to get stronger, to learn something, to network. You don't know who you're going to meet on that path, to pick up tools, as you said, that you're going to need in another stage of life. You got to be open to your environment. You have to be open to your environment. You also have to know what's on the inside of you and who you are, so that that way you can embrace it and be knowledgeable of where you are, so that you're more effective in your next stage. Because there's nothing like finally barely getting through this obstacle to get to the next stage, and then you kind of have like a repeat session, because you didn't really learn or get everything that you needed. And now you're here, you're like, oh, I was just back there. Like when you go to Walmart and Target, and then you go home and you forget that an ingredient back at Walmart, right?
Yeah.
I was just there. Like, I have to go back and get it. It's something I needed now, but now I got to go back and get it.
So I heard this analogy the other day, and it hit me in my soul when I heard it, because it makes sense. So if you think about your journey, right? And think about your trajectory, even in your life right now. Say you didn't start your journey for your passion. You think about your life right now, and you, from as far back as you can remember to this very moment right now, there hasn't been a straight line, right? When you look at your life pulse, the EKG goes like that. If it was to go like this,
you'd be dead.
Exactly. So why would your life and the trajectory of your life be like that? You have to learn to respect this.
Yes.
It's synonymous to your life. So in that blipping, in that journey, up here, there's a treasure. Down here, there's a treasure. When it goes here, there's a treasure. Up here is a treasure, and so on and so forth. You just have to be willing to peel your eyes back, see them, acknowledge them, and utilize them. Sometimes you can't utilize it right then and there, but it's a berry to tuck in your pocket. It's like playing a video game. You go on these journeys and you're grabbing these keys and you're grabbing these coins and the fruit. Okay, it's lives. You're getting these new lives and you're getting these little accolades. You may go into another journey in the next screen and you need those things in order to get through to life. During the difficult times, you're going to need that sustenance. Oh, I have this skill set. Or I learned this over here, or someone gave me this nugget here. You have to make those things applicable to your life when you need them the most. And sometimes things stay with you that you can use throughout your life. And those are the life-giving gifts that will never leave you. And those things, I believe, are the things that you pass on. You give them to other people as well, because believe it or not, folks, when you bless somebody else, you become even more blessed. That's how it goes. So being in a position to receive and to give puts you in a better position for you to find the thing that you need for yourself, which is your passion.
So amazing. I love listening to you talk, like, because I love the language, I love the language. It's just we always just, encourage each other and it's like confirming that I'm on the right path. I'm not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got to find your tribe. You got to find people who speak the language.
Yes.
Because if you don't have your tribe that speaks this language of pursuing your passion to being active in your own journey, and you have those naysayers or those haters or people who are not on their own path or okay with being who they are, where they are, and you're trying to move forward, but you have value and you have an investment in them, they can be an anchor that will keep you from achieving your dreams, your goal, and moving forward, because everybody won't go with you. This can be a lonely journey at times.
Yes, it can.
Lonely journey at times, and you need to have the right people who speak the right language to encourage you. But again, like Chike said, you got to do this sometimes yourself. You got to have that in your head. You got to have that have your vision. People do vision boards. I have an evidence room. I have an evidence room. I'm actually in my office right now, and I keep things on my phone. I keep things on my refrigerator. I have my magazine in the bathroom, for people to read. Like, I have evidence of my life everywhere I go. So when depression or doubt sets in, it's something automatic that I see, because I created the environment that I can thrive in.
Exactly.
Whether it is with my tribe or with products or with visions that have manifested. I'll go and watch one of my movies on YouTube
Mm-hmm.
or on my phone. You have to keep the evidence around you that you're on the right path, like those mile markers, those flags we get when we win races, or I run 5Ks, and I have my medals. And it reminds me, no, I've accomplished some things. Right. I'm on the right path. This may just be a little part of the wilderness,
Yeah.
not just like the openness, the open field that we may see sometimes, but life is mainly about those wilderness moments, and you have to learn how to master them by, when you pursue your purpose, like you're not wandering aimlessly, you are purposely moving forward. Each step is calculated in a sense. You're not just listening over here and following this person, listen over here and following this person, and not making any advancements in your life. Go ahead. You wanted to say something, Chike?
No, I'm just co-signing on what you're saying. I wholeheartedly agree with all of that. And everyone's their activity, their action in that is going to be different. Mine is, I guess I don't like the phrase fake it till you make it. I get it and I understand that.
Me either.
But I guess I do that. I fake it till I make it, but it's not a fake. There's nothing fake about it. For the most part, it's putting yourself in a space or living as though, having the mental capacity as if you're already doing what it is that you wish to do. Putting yourself physically in a space that you want to be in. You may not be able to do what it is that you're trying to do at that moment, but you're physically in the space, or thinking of, or thinking as. There's a profession that you want to be in. Or avenue that you feel like you want to be in. Maybe walk in those shoes. Get to know people that are already doing it or somewhat doing what you want to do. Just to pull a little bit from their life, just to take pieces if you know nothing about it. The only examples I can give you is like things that I've done for myself. I know that I wanted to be in some facet of entertainment. And to a degree, since I was a kid, I've always kind of dabbled in the arts. I've always been somewhat of an artist myself. But it wasn't until I actually went to it was a casting call for something. And I gave this lady my headshot and I sat there, and I was 35 at the time. and I read for her. We did this scene, and she actually thought that I was pretty good. She was like, "Oh my God, you're good, you're great." And then she flipped over my headshot and looked at my, credentials and everything, and she said, "Why did you wait so long?" And that broke my heart. I was like, "What? So are you telling me that I'm too old?" Like, because that's something that I had in the back of my head, that I was already too old. But then you hear stories about certain people not finding their passion or getting into their light
Until
later
late.
on. And I'm like, well, it's
Yeah.
possible. It's not necessarily possible for everyone all the time. Who's to say that it was supposed to be possible for me? But I felt like it was. I felt like it was my time. I felt like, I finally got up enough nerve to actually walk in this door to do something about this passion that I have within myself. And then the lady says, "Why'd you wait so long?" Like, and it just read to me like, I have what it takes. You're good, but you're too old. That's what I heard. And I walked out of there with an attitude. And then I was like, you know what? That's just one person's opinion. This is just one situation. It's the first situation. I don't necessarily have to take, this energy on. And I didn't. And I kept pushing forward. So what I started to do was put myself in spaces to be in a position to be seen, to be heard, to get known. You start networking, and slowly but surely, you start to see that flower open and it starts to blossom. And then the fruit from all my labor started happening. Then things just started falling in line. And that's just an example of me being on my journey and my path, but everyone else is going to be different. You may encounter severe negativity, but you have to have your eyes open and you have to pay attention to what is actually going on, because in that negativity is going to be some positiveness for you to pick up and carry on to move to the next. Don't give up. Whatever your passion is, do not give up on it. You have to continue to fight. Because another thing that happens, and I mentioned it earlier, sometimes God wants to see how bad you want it.
Yeah.
How bad is it that you really want to invest your life and your time and your energy into doing this thing that you innately love?
Most definitely. I think it's definitely preparation from where you're going. People want to jump and be the CEO of the company and have no idea what it takes with the janitor, what it takes and all the different levels, like the janitor, the importance of the janitor, who opens up the building. Like, you have to be, when you're trying to, like, if you want to be a business owner, you got to know what it takes to run a business. So sometimes you got to go through those steps to know all of what it takes, not just being a CEO, because there's nothing like somebody sitting at the top who don't know what it is to be at on level 3, like.
It's funny because as a youngster, and having my first job, as a teenager, I've always thought, and maybe it was because of my immature mind thinking, I always thought that when you're a boss, you only got to be a boss because you did everything else beneath that level to get to that point. So
Not
I've
at
always
all.
had that in me. So I still have that mindset when it comes to people in certain positions. Okay, we now know that sometimes people don't go through the ranks to get to certain positions. But hey, if you're in that position, you need to know yours and everything else that's below you in order for you to
Exactly.
be effective where you are here. Whether you've done it or not, you need to have knowledge of it.
Exactly.
And
When
that's
we
just
talk
my
about
belief.
fast food, if you think about the person who comes in and, starts doing the floor, then they move up to the fry cook, and then they
Yes.
move to flipping burgers, and then they're on their cashier, then they're shift
Yeah.
manager, and then they all of a sudden become the manager, and then they're they're the owner, but they know what it takes to be you. So it's more relatable in a sense. They
Yes.
got that work ethic, and that's how sometimes God takes us. He takes us through these I call it these obstacle courses or these training courses for us to be able to know what it takes. Because sometimes even when you're pursuing your business, you have to be everything that you need until the other people come along to be able to take over that portion of your company in a sense. And then now you're able to know what to expect from them, but clearly articulate what you need from them because you were in that position before, and pursuing your passion, discovering your passion and pursuing your passion. Though we said before that it's not a cookie cutter thing.
No.
There's no straight blueprint for it.
No.
What is specific is the what
Mm-hmm.
or the who. You are a specific. This is your journey.
Mm-hmm.
What needs to happen of you pursuing your discovering your passion, you knowing your tribe, spending time with yourself. These are things that you need to do. Look around, take inventory of your environment. But the how is a unique process. The how you do it, how I do a thing is different from how Chike do a thing. We may have some similarities, but you got to figure out what works for you. Everybody has a different love language. You have to take this on as a love journey or a relationship with yourself. How do you speak to yourself? How do you want to be talked to, in a sense? How do you act, or how do you respond? You and your characteristics are all inside of this journey. So because something can make you mad and then all of a sudden you shut down and not moving anymore. You have to be able to recognize that and know and figure out what's going on. What's my trigger? Why am I not doing this? But still stay, then get back up and get back on your path.
Yeah.
You have to know you.
It's also too about putting the pieces together that you've accumulated in your life.
Yes.
Your life experiences that you, and we say certain things, and I like to give analogies and examples because I like to paint pictures to show people things, because sometimes when you talk to people, they may not hear it dead on. So for an example of things that happen in your life and you can make applicable to where it is that you're going. There was a point in time that I was a representative for Xfinity. I was talking to people on the phone. I had no idea that was training ground for me. And I'm going to be all the way 100. I hated that job. Every 5 minutes, someone's ringing on the phone, my cable's out, or this is it. And you have to fluctuate emotionally and mentally with everyone that's calling on that phone about whatever issue it is that they're having. And it taught me to curtail myself around the temperature that was on the phone. And I'll show you how that relates to many, many years later on, where now I have a position that I have a camera and I'm on a red carpet and I'm getting different types of personalities coming down, and I have to talk to them about a common situation, or maybe not even a common situation. They may throw me a curveball, but because of the past, and I had to deal with that already in my life, not knowing that it was a training ground for something that was going to happen later on. So you have to pay attention to the nutrients that are coming to you through your life and make them applicable when you need them to. Always hold on to retain information, because you never know when you might need it. And at the same time, the whole reason that we're on this journey talking about finding your passion, and I'm just going to say straight up, finding your passion and finding your purpose makes your life better. You will have a better experience in life. You will have a better life. It will be more fruitful. You'll be at more peace. I can't explain it to you. It just opens you up.
Yes, the quality of life. I call it, you have a better quality of life when you are walking in or living in your purpose. When you're living in your passion, you have a better quality of life. We're just talking about this, the peace and the joy and the happiness, where it doesn't feel like work. Like us even getting up to be prepared to be on this live at 6 o'clock is what we do. It's just making minor adjustments, but it's not like you're getting up and going to a job that you don't like and, oh my gosh, I go out in the cold and all this other stuff. I was just saying, I have an in-home office. I have to travel nowhere. My baby's asleep. It was just an adjusting time, but this is my purpose. Why wouldn't I do it? Why wouldn't I, and then you made yourself available, but this is part of my purpose, part of my passion. And my quality of life is on a whole nother level when you do what you're passionate about. And I know people say, well, you have to be responsible and you have to work and you have to take care of your bills. They're taken care of.
Yeah. And they're going to continue to be taken care of when you live in your passion, because God shows favor. God shows favor. He does.
Indeed. You may have struggles. Everything isn't always easy, but there is a way. There is a way. And what I want, this is why we were talking about this to you today, was to make sure that you just take inventory of your life. There comes a time where when we're born and we're growing up, we are responding to life because we're learning life. But there's a lull you hit, or there's a wave that you hit. I want to say like maybe in your 30s, mid 30s, 40s, that you take control of your life and you're no longer reacting, but your desires, the desires on the inside of you are bubbling out, and you can no longer wait and, wait to live in that or do that. There's a decision making time in your life that you will come to a fork in the road. Am I going to continue on this path of being reacting to life? Or do I really want to live out my dreams? And then you're going to have to make some adjustments. You're going to have to take some time with yourself, take inventory, take stock of your life. What do I love to do? As Chike was saying, what do I love to do that brings me joy and happiness? What do I love to do that, puts a smile on not only my face, but other people's faces, to get that joy out of them? What am I good at? What do I want? How do I want the rest of my life to be? Because one thing is given is the life we lived. We don't know how much time is before us. And at some level, you have control of the quality of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Not life and the life obstacles that come. You're going to have to deal with them, but you are in control of your life in the sense of the quality of your life as you go through life and as you encounter these obstacles.
Yeah.
So I will tell you to take charge of your emotions, and this is the part, your emotions, and what you were talking about, your mental energy controls your emotional and physical ability. Your emotional energy and your physical ability. Take charge of your life, take charge of the quality of your life, so that you can live out the rest of your life in that peace and joy and happiness that you desire. It's going to take some change. It's going to take some work, but you're worth it. You have to decide that you're worth it. And now let life adjust to you and you and your purpose. Let life obstacles adjust to you and your desires and your path, so that you're not always reacting to it. You will have to deal with it, but you're not sitting duck to it.
Yeah. And I will also say too, for governing this space that we call ourselves, you have to have some form of constitution for yourself. Like there's a set of ethics and a set of laws that are unyielding that you stick to. And one of mine is no regrets. I did not want to get to a certain point in my life and look back and say, oh, coulda, shoulda.
Yes, that's
because
me.
the one thing that is always fleeting and it's always valuable and you never get it back is time.
Yes.
You can't go back in time and rechange and reconfigure and start over or press, that restart button. You can't do that. All you can work with is here and now and moving forward.
Yes.
So if you have no regrets, you'll never feel any type of negativity as it relates to moving to the future.
Yes.
But what you can do is start right now to change what's going to come for tomorrow. And use what happened in the past as a push board.
Yes.
Because one thing that I knew was that as time was moving on and you're looking at it, oh, I could do this, I could do that. Well, I'm spending time just sitting here counting on how many things
something can be done.
Pick a poison and ride with it. Pick it and ride with it. And I will say this, being on your journey sometimes, and when you find it, what it is that you're looking for, sometimes you may apex what you thought that you wanted to do. You may reach to the top, but now you got to figure out once you're there, what are you going to do with it? Because sometimes we peak prematurely. Sometimes things just happen and you're there and you're like, okay, I wasn't really ready for this. So the next lesson is, okay, what do you do now that you're here? Now that you're here, how do you maneuver in this space to make it more comfortable and to help others? Because that's the other part that some people forget about, is helping others. You have to always be able to throw that into the mix. And that helping others sometimes gives more life or new life to what it is that you're already doing, because it takes it on another trajectory. So no regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
I woke up, Chike. I woke up one day in October, end of October. And I said, I'm going to stop being afraid of my own shadow. I don't care what anybody says, how anybody, evaluates it, reviews it, perceives it. I want to see what's on the inside of me. I can't live my life through other people's limitations or their limited perceptions of what could be done, because maybe they've never been exposed to it or only seen it on TV, or somebody famous has to do it, somebody they don't know. I've had so many wild dreams and ideas that I've squashed down or minimized, hiding in other people's shadows that people I valued and looked up to. Like I had this one guy tell me, I was telling him about the people I was in a room with, and he was just looking at me and he was like, do you understand they were in the room with you too? It was a different way of looking at things. As I pay homage to other people, he said, do you understand God put you in that room? And why do you keep seeing yourself as less than or smaller than them, like you're a spectator, when you were on that list too? They were in the room with you too. I woke up one day, Chike, and said, one of my things is no regrets. I live my life with no regrets. We're friends. I maximize our friendship. When we're not cohesive anymore, I have no regrets if I have to walk away. Right. I do everything at a job I'm supposed to and some, because when it's time for me to leave, I leave with no regrets. And I want to live my life with no regrets, whether I win, lose, or fail, whether it was perfect or imperfect, it got done. What I won't say is shoulda, woulda, coulda, because you'll never know until you go. You'll never know until you actually do it. It doesn't have to, I tell people, it doesn't have to be perfect. Stop waiting for the perfect moment and make this moment perfect. You only have this moment you're in. Stop waiting for the perfect opportunity and create the opportunity, or do something like you said in this moment. What can I do now with who I am now? And I'll evolve and grow as I go, but I'm going. You have to decide you're worth it. And that was one of my issues, was I didn't see the total value in me. I didn't feel like I was worthy enough, in a sense. And I always minimized myself. That's not me anymore.
Yeah.
I'm growing and evolving. And if people can't take your intensity, if they can't take, then let them adjust. You keep moving forward. Don't you minimize yourself for other people. Get a new circle. They aren't the only people in this world. You gave them value. Please readjust. Reevaluate, reassess. But your life is always a reassessment. But one thing, please, 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 love on yourself. Get to know yourself. Value yourself. Spend time with yourself. Celebrate you. And really dive deep on the inside of you. What is the core of you? If you had to describe yourself in a couple of words, how would you describe yourself? Generous, smart, giving, and then what do you love to do? As Chike said, find your passion. Discover what your passion is. Take time and itemize you. Like really make you a case study, because this is your life. This is your life. And the quality of life is determined by you. Obstacles come, they cannot take away the quality of life. You have to adjust to them or make them adjust. But my joy, happiness, and peace are non-negotiable. Non-negotiable.
I honestly think that in this whole conversation that we've been having, because you just touched on something that triggered something in me. Having this conversation up until this point, we were putting the cart before the horse. So finding your passion technically comes after you falling in love with yourself.
Yes.
Because you cannot go on the journey of finding your passion unless you love yourself. And you have to love yourself like 100%.
And that's the foundation. That's that foundation I was talking about. Everything else that you build on top of how you perceive and value yourself is either going to be on shaky ground, non-stable, or it's going to be on a solid foundation that you can build pillars of things in life that are stable. Because if you don't love yourself and this is unstable, and now you have pillars on top, this is so shaky that anything that you build is going to crumble, because you do not have a good relationship with yourself. You don't see yourself even as valuable to even see that you have purpose inside of you to be able to have quality of life.
So I had this conversation with a friend, And I'm always taking certain subject matters and pushing them to the limit, just to see how far I can go with it. So one of the things, one of the subjects that keep coming up, and it has been for the past couple of years for me, is audacity.
Yes.
There's a lot of audaciousness going on in the world, whether it be to the negative and to the positive, right? Do you love yourself enough to have the audacity to step out to make things better for yourself? Do you have the audacity? Some people say this, through God, all things are possible, right? Which is true. But the other part about that is God only helps those that help themselves. Why would you have the audacity to sit back, cross your legs, and fold your arms and wait for God to deliver you a blessing? What are you doing to receive that blessing? Because faith without works is undone. God wants you to get up off your earth and do something to create a situation for yourself. Hey, know this. You're a child of God. You were made in his own image. Take that part.
Yeah.
Why can't you make the powers that you have applicable to your own life situation and be godlike and do some things to create and manifest something for yourself? Use the love that you have for yourself, which is from God, and build upon it. Create that magic. Be that godlike energy, that use that power that he gave you to build upon, to find your passion, to make a better life, to be better, to feed other people, to go on and so forth. You know?
Yes.
That's where I'm living. That's where I'm at.
Listen, I love it, because when we talk about that, you get this big old cheeky smile on your face, right? I love talking about passion and purpose. I love it. And I actually have a book called The Audacity of You, because you got to push it to the limits, like the audacity of you to live and to thrive after all the things that you've been through. The audacity of you to be not only vibrant in your own life, but to empower other people to do the same. The audacity of you to decide that you want to live and not die. The audacity of you to say, I'm a thrive and not just survive. Find your purpose, spend time with you, discover your passion, and then pursue your purpose like it owes you something.
Yes.
It owes you something. You understand me?
To reiterate, it's not easy. This is
It's
no
not
easy feat at all, by any means. It may even
it's worth it.
Hurt.
It's worth it though.
But it is so worth it. And once you go through some things and you get on the other side and you see the fruit that comes from knowing who you are, finding your purpose and living in that space, when you see how sweet it is, you're going to look back and be like, I should have did this a long time ago.
A long time ago. Chike, I can talk to you forever. I know we both have tight schedules. I can go on and on. I love this. Thank you so much for taking the time out. I'm gonna say a little bit and he's going to say a little bit because he knows his handles better than I do, but definitely check out his article, Pursue Your Passion, and the latest edition of iMatter magazine, which is available at SherelleDiamondHogans.com. You can click on the link there and go to all of the magazines, the archived ones, because they are timeless articles. He has other articles and other issues of the magazine also. Please continue this conversation. Please take time and value yourself and dive deeper into you to discover your purpose, to be able to live a level of quality of life that is amazing. I can't even describe the life that is possible for you if you choose to be an active participant in pursuing that life. So Chike, please tell them your handles. And again, thank you so much, brother, for being able to be on, making time today to be on.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm going to make it easy for everyone. I'm Googleable. So just Google Chike Evans and you'll get everything that I've ever done. It'll come up. And I'm Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I'm around. I have a couple movies out. So just check me out. Research me. Do a deep dive into Chike Evans.
Yo, I tell everybody, Google me, baby. Google me. I can't tell you all my stuff. Just Google me. I tell my kids all the time, Google me.
That's right.
Yes. So Google him. His name is on the flyer. His name is on the title of this recording. So thank you so much. Go have an amazing day. I always say hit that stop. They hit that go button and rock out every moment you can. Show up for you.
I want to say something to you before we leave. I just appreciate you in the space that you're in and the love that you emit. It's like osmosis. I love receiving it from you. And I love what you're doing for your fellow human beings. I appreciate you, sis.
Oh, thank you so much, Chike. I love collaborating with you. I say legacies are made when passions collide and collaborate. So thank you for being a passion that is running in your purpose so that we can collide and collaborate and we can empower this world, impact this world like never before with the force that we are collectively. I'm so appreciative of you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
You too.
Start using like that.